Andreas says, are you all right? Option 1 of 3 why yes. Option 2 of 3 I think so. Option 3 of 3 HOW is Sister Emily? Option 2 of 3 I think so. You? Andreas says in truth, no. But I survived, and so did she. They must have heard that at the Golden Hand. Option 1 of 3 The entire church collapsing? I'd hope so. Option 2 of 3 WHAT an awful way to end a beautiful Christmas night. Option 3 of 3 of course. Option 2 of 3 WHAT an awful way to end a beautiful Christmas night. Andreas says what are we going to tell them? Player says what do you mean? Andreas says about this, about everything. Option 1 of 2 why wouldn't we just tell them the truth? Option 2 of 2. Option 1 of 2 why wouldn't we just tell them the truth? Andreas says for the same reason Father Thomas hid it. Option 1 of 3 so we should reward what he did? All the people he's hurt? Option 2 of 3 you can't be serious. Option 3 of 3 please explain your thinking. Option 1 of 3 so we should reward what he did? All the people he's hurt? Andreas says is it better to punish the people of Tassing? What good will it do to tell everyone about Saint Moritz and Saint Sasha? Maybe Father Thomas was right about that, if nothing else, maybe it would break their faith. Option 1 of 2 I think he's wrong. I think the people here have enough faith to hear the truth. Option 2 of 2 I suppose the people here have had enough things in their lives broken. Option 1 of 2 I think he's wrong. I think the people here have enough faith to hear the truth. Andreas says you know them better than I do, especially since I've been away for so long. Option 1 of 2 you came back after all this time to solve this, but... Option 2 of 2 I thought understanding this would feel better. Option 1 of 2 you came back after all this time to solve this, but... Player says it's hard to feel like we actually accomplished anything. Are we any better off than we were this morning? Andreas says Father Thomas won't be able to hurt anyone else. Player says maybe he never would have. Andreas says, I think you're right. We should tell them, about the saints, the Romans, all of it. Option 1 of 2 I hate that doing the right thing feels so awful. Option 2 of 2 no. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't really help anything. Option 1 of 2 I hate that doing the right thing feels so awful. Andreas says I'm sorry. Player says I am, too. But I still think it's what we need to do. Andreas says then we'll tell them. Player says good. Andreas says we should get Sister Emily someplace warm. Player says we can take her to my house. You'll probably have some explaining to do. Andreas says a lot. It's been a long time coming. Player says. I'm glad you didn't die in that fire. Andreas says I am, too, I think. Option 1 of 2 MERRY Christmas, Andreas. Option 2 of 2 WE should head back. Option 1 of 2 MERRY Christmas, Andreas. Andreas says Merry Christmas. Klaus says oh. Magdalene, you made it back. Option 1 of 2 DID you think I wouldn't? Option 2 of 2 Andreas and Sister Emily and I all made it back. Klaus says Sister Emily, was she in the church? I heard a terrible din and the house shook. Is everything all right? Option 1 of 2 I don't think so, Dad. But it will be. Option 2 of 2 you our neighbors probably think the world is ending. So, it could be better. Option 1 of 2 I don't think so, Dad. But it will be. Klaus says. Player says are you all right, Dad? Klaus says yes. I'm sorry, just tired. Sit by me. Tell me what happened. Option 1 of 2 it started in the Rathaus. Well, the Ratskeller. Option 2 of 2 I think Andreas might still be a little crazy, Dad. Option 1 of 2 it started in the Rathaus. Well, the Ratskeller. Option 1 of 2 DID you know the back wall was part of the old Roman aqueduct? Option 2 of 2 Andreas found an old Roman message there that pointed to the Mithraeum. Option 1 of 2 DID you know the back. Option 2 of 2 Andreas found an old Roman message there that pointed to the Mithraeum. Klaus says hey. Player says so we went into the aqueduct. The section we found must have been closed off for centuries. We found an old Roman bathhouse. We couldn't go through, so we found our way down to a level under the bath. I think Andreas said it was a hypocaust. Option 1 of 2 I got separated from Andreas. Option 2 of 2 Andreas got separated from me. Option 1 of 2 I got separated from Andreas. Player says I was really afraid I'd lost him, that we'd both gotten lost down there. But then I heard his voice off in the distance, and I was so relieved. Dad? Are you still listening? Esther says. I know it's hard, I mean, I can only imagine how hard it is, but we will all do our best to make you feel welcome when you get here. It's strange to think this will probably be the last letter I send to you, so I will end it with my love. Esther. Natsiu says Magdalene. Player says yes. Natsiu says I am sorry to disturb you, but I wanted to let you know that everything is in order. Baltus has ensured that all of the financial matters will be handled. The money will be forwarded to you via the Reichspost as soon as everything is settled. Player says I appreciate it. Please thank him for me. Option 1 of 2 thank him for everything. Option 2 of 2 leave it at that. Option 1 of 2 thank him for everything. Natsiu says of course, Mistress Druck-Aaron. I did not know your father well, but I know that he was well regarded by everyone who spoke of him. It seems that Tassing has lost many things in one man. I'm very sorry. Option 1 of 2 thank. Natsiu says good fortune to you. Church and Druckers. Drucker House. Gertrude. Gertrude says are you sure you have everything you need, Magdalene? Option 1 of 2 I think so. Thank you. Option 2 of 2 we LLC. I know I'm ready to go. Option 1 of 2 I think so. Thank you. Gertrude says I made you something to take with you on the road. It's chamomile, cinnamon, and wheat flour. If you're traveling and you're having cramps. Player says I know. I'll use it. Gertrude says well, Hildegard's recipe just called for chamomile and wheat flour. I added the cinnamon for taste. I'm so sorry about what happened to your father. Player says thank you. Gertrude says Mother Franziska had us all say prayers for him, and for you as well, when she heard you were leaving. Option 1 of 2 really? That's so sweet. Please thank her for me. Option 2 of 2 I don't know what to say. Option 1 of 2 really? That's so sweet. Please thank her for me. Gertrude says I will. We'll all miss you so much, Magdalene. Option 1 of 2 I'll miss you, too. Option 2 of 2 you have so many sisters to look after at the convent, though. Option 1 of 2 I'll miss you, too. Gertrude says God bless you. Safe travels. Gertrude. God bless you. Drucker House, Veronica. Veronica says Magdalene. I can't believe you're really leaving. Option 1 of 2 I'll miss you all dearly. Option 2 of 2 you should come visit me. Option 1 of 2 I'll miss you all dearly. Eva says the boys will miss you even more. Veronica says yours at least. Eva says oh, don't tease him. I think he's really having a hard time of it, despite appearances. Option 1 of 2 he'll get over me soon enough. Option 2 of 2 I'll go easy on him. Veronica says that's kind of you. Eva says I appreciate it. Safe travels and God bless you. Veronica. Veronica. Veronica says safe travels. OTZ. OTZ says oh, hey, Mags. Option 1 of 2 OTZ. Option 2 of 2 OTTO. Option 1 of 2 OTZ. OTZ says I'm really sorry about your dad, he was always nice to me. My mom says he was a good man. Option 1 of 2 HE was a good dad. Option 2 of 2 she's right. Option 1 of 2 HE was a good dad. OTZ says. Player says well, thanks. I should get going. OTZ says Mags. Player says. OTZ says Magdalene. You sure you don't want to marry me? Option 1 of 4 IT is a tempting offer. Option 2 of 4 and the load of bitter sorrow lies heavy upon my breast. Option 3 of 4 I am sure. Option 4 of 4 it's a little late for that. Option 2 of 4 and the load of bitter sorrow lies heavy upon my breast. Player says joy to me is a stranger, gladness a fleeting guest. OTZ says. I don't know what any of that means but I think it means no. Player says look after your mother, OTZ. OTZ. OTZ says. Elias. Emily. Emily. Elias, OTZ. Veronica. Drucker House, Gertrude. Drucker House, Veronica. OTZ. Elias. Elias says good morning, Mistress Druck Aaron. Are you off soon? Player says yes, father. Just saying my last few farewells. Elias says of course. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to know you or your father, God rest his soul. Player says I am, too. Elias says don't let those bohemians put any heretical ideas in your head. Once their pernicious seeds take root, they can choke the faith right out of you. Option 1 of 3 I will keep my guard up, father. Option 2 of 3 SAINT Moritz will protect me. Option 3 of 3 I don't know, father. I've heard they have some interesting ideas. Option 1 of 3 I will keep my guard up, father. Elias says good, good. Keep the faith. Player says God bless you, Father Elias. Elias says God bless you in your travels. Emily. God bless you, Emily. Player says God bless you as well, Sister Emily. Emily says are you leaving today? Player says I am. I'm just heading up to the mill in a bit. Emily says I'm so sorry for everything that happened. Option 1 of 3 I know. It's all right now. Option 2 of 3 your home was destroyed. Option 3 of 3 WELL, that was winter. It's spring now. Option 1 of 3 I know. It's all right now. Emily says. Thank you for helping me. Player says do you know what you'll do now? Will you become an anchoress again? Emily says I don't know, honestly. Father Elias is trying to help me, but I need to learn to rely on my own judgment a little more. It's going to take a long time to atone for my part in what happened, perhaps the rest of my life. Option 1 of 2 God knows you didn't mean to do harm. Option 2 of 2 you were tricked. We all were. Option 1 of 2 God knows you didn't mean to do harm. Emily says he does, but harm was done. I am writing an account of what happened here. As well as I can remember it, anyway. If it is not enough to earn forgiveness, I pray that it will at least illuminate this history of great darkness. Player says good. It's worth remembering. God bless you, Sister Emily. Emily says God bless and keep you safe on your travels, Magdalene. Elias. Emily. God bless you, Emily. Elias. Gertrude. Drucker. Veronica. OTZ. Mill. Elias. Emily. Elias. Mill. Church and Druckers. else. Else says Magdalene. You are ready? Player says I am. We'll be setting out soon. Else says good. It's a wide and exciting world out there, you shouldn't miss out on it. I will also be leaving Tassing before long. Not permanently, I imagine, just to travel for a while. Option 1 of 2 that's wonderful, else. Option 2 of 2 OH? Why didn't you tell me earlier? Else says I hope to finalize organizing it with Paul first. He's finding me an escort for the road. I've always wanted to go. It's been on my mind for a while. But I had to wait for little Andreas and Ulrich to grow old enough. I'm tired of this place. There has been too much pain. Option 1 of 2 because of the revolt? Option 2 of 2 because of your husband? Else says he was a terrible man. I think no. It was his fault. Agnes always said that it was his fault, but then he gifted me Paul. At least I got Paul. The two of us, surviving together. Then came the revolt. A frightening time. It happened because of hope, even if a foolish one. And for all that pain, it ultimately freed me from. It showed me, and Paul, that we can both live without fear. Player says where are you planning to go? Else says to the west, I think. I've often dreamed of visiting Paris. It sounds as a fun place to start from. And then, God only knows where the winds will take me. Option 1 of 2 maybe paths will cross by accident, in one city or another. Option 2 of 2 I like it. It's good not to be tied down. Option 1 of 2 maybe paths will cross by accident, in one city or another. Else says God willing. Stay safe on the road, dear. We're still in dangerous times. Player says I will. Else says Godspeed, Magdalene. Church and Drucker. Else. Church and else. Andreas. Andreas. Andreas says are you sure I look all right? Anna says of course, Andreas. You look perfectly respectable. Paul says you're a little worse for wear, but a good sight better than you were. Andreas says it was kind of the women to help clean me up. I'm afraid I'd forgotten how to look after myself. Paul says some would say you took care of yourself quite admirably. How many men here could have survived in a burned out cellar for the better part of 20 years? Anna says subsisting on our discarded rye, no less. Andreas says I'm sorry about that. Anna says Andreas, we already told you, it's all right now. Andreas says Magdalene. Paul says hello, Magdalene. Anna says are you off soon? Player says hello. Yes, I'm riding with your flower to Mittenwald, and then down the Isar. Andreas says I'm sorry to see you go, Magdalene. But I hope Prague is everything you've dreamed of. Player says if it's half the city Esther describes, I'm sure I'll love it. Andreas says it was a wonder the last time I saw it. You have a chance to make a life of your own there. God knows I've squandered so much of mine. Use the time you have and use it well. Player says I will. I don't know how, but I will. I wish he could have seen it, Andreas. Andreas says I know. He would have loved it. Player says I hope so. Andreas says I know so. Option 1 of 2 that's kind of you to say. Option 2 of 2 NOW I know you're just trying to make me feel better. Option 1 of 2 that's kind of you to say. Andreas says we all need words of encouragement. And besides, it's the truth. Paul says Magdalene, I wanted to ask you something about the mural before you go. Player says Paul says I thought it was supposed to cover the whole wall. Why did you leave a section blank? Player says for the future. Unless history is going to stop in Tassing the moment I roll down the road. Andreas says I think your wagon is about to leave. Player says oh, it is. It hardly feels like enough time. Thank you for everything you did for me, for my family. Andreas says. Player says God bless you, Andreas Mailer. Paul says Andreas. Anna says are you alright? Andreas says I'm lost. Paul says that's alright. Anna says you're welcome to stay with us for as long as you need. Besides, you can't leave yet. The children require your expertise. Andreas says oh? Anna says they're up on the mill, the walkway. I'll have supper ready when you're done. Paul says just remember that you're always welcome in our home, Andreas. Option 1 of 2 th. Option 1 of 2 thanku. Option 2 of 2 not. Option 1 of 2 thanku. Windmill platform. Windmill platform. Windmill platform.
Ein schönes Walde, der Eichenbaum wuchs dort so hoch, die Veilchen nickten Das küsste mich auf Deutsch und sprach auf Deutsch. Man glaubt, es kam wie gutes Klang. das Wort, ich liebe dich, ich liebe dich. Es war ein Traum.
New game.